Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a quick look again here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Holding this 70,000 level. I don't know. It's up to the whale gods there, right? We're not quite sure if this is going to hold. We're going to double check some things in the back and kind of see where we're at. And if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. We do also have a lot of new members coming over, so if you're can jump on over there and join us. Make sure you read through our signals guide. CryptoCash.tech is where you can register, but there is definitely some recommended signals or recommendations for the signals that I send. So check that out, please, please, please. Some folks are not really sure the difference between day trades and swing trades. They're fairly obvious if you read through the signals guide. Okay, so quickly to note here with Bitcoin, we want to talk about this heavy concentration liquidation just above the price action. Usually when you see this deep red level, it implies there's pretty big money there. So in other words, a lot of people, or just one big person, of course, somebody with a lot of money, shorting there at 71,750. So that level could get swept and could destroy a lot of accounts, but just keep in mind that's a heavy concentration. So a lot of times the heavier concentrations can be a little stronger because they have more selling pressure. Just kind of a big picture there. But again, the last 7 days, we have some liquidation at a low 60,000, but not a lot in the more recent levels here. However, we can see that 68,000 would be the next potential pivot point there with that lower level liquidity. It's the heaviest concentration outside the price action at 71.6. Okay, so 68,000 or 71.6. So just to quickly double check this here, 68,000 is right here. That is just above the more recent resistance turn support. And then of course 71,600 is pretty much just above this most recent wick. Okay, that's where liquidation is kind of hanging out above and beyond, or above and below the current price action. Okay? So what we want to look at here is the daily, see what's going on, if there's any confirmation that we're looking for. Again, we didn't get a closure above 70,000, so a lot of people are like, hey, where's the signals? Well, the truth is, without confirmation, they're not going to happen. And the truth is also, a lot of the coins continue to run. We didn't get that lower alert that I was looking for to get some better fills. So again, missed out on some opportunities yesterday? Absolutely. Do I care? Not at all. Because again, there's plenty more opportunities likely here today, specifically with some coins that are looking like they're ready to take off. But we do have a doji candle printing so far here today. That's not a great sign. We do want to preferably close above 70,000. So that would help us, of course, not by closing in a type of gravestone doji candle. This isn't exactly gravestone, but it's getting close. And it's not really ideal scenario for the price action continuing higher. Taking a look here at stochastic RSI, we have a second stochastic swing. We also have money flow index RSI coming back down, but generally speaking, we're over 50 on those, and that's a good sign. Okay. Same thing here as with MACD2, trying to converge, but hasn't fully yet. So it does feel like Bitcoin wants to continue further up, but once more, feelings mean nothing here. And generally speaking, at this point, it would make sense to see a corrective pullback here to effectively give us the next leg up, right? If we don't pull back, it will imply that we have a lot less pressure to the upside, and it's helpful to have a lot of consolidation leading into it. So a pullback actually is that form of consolidation. It's a good sign. So I would love to see 68,000 swept, and then consider a nice long position from there. Because the truth is, we did break through our more recent high. We're above all moving averages here on the 4-hour time frame. We're still looking very good. This ascending trend line, we're so far holding it as well. But again, it's a little too early to kind of presume on that. RSI is pulling back, money flow indexes as well, along with stochastics. So these are generally bearish signs here, just showing us that we have this shift of momentum that's occurring. Now, is this bearish in the long term, like the price just going to drop like a rock? No, it's just implying that this natural correction is happening and it's very normal. Okay? So I would not read into this too far. I do personally think that we could see the price pull back a little bit further, but once again, we haven't looked at the smaller time frame, so it's hard to say. But looking at the MACD, we can confirm that we're losing some momentum there too as well. And this is all par for the course, folks. This is a good sign. And again, good sign is we're coming up and over, and we're seeing these nice little staircase patterns. If we can consolidate at this area, strong chance we're going to have a leg up from here. And if we zoom out a little bit too, we can look at the volume. We see the heaviest amount of volume outside this lower outlier, at the 51K range. If you take anything 60,000 or higher, we can see the most amount of volume at 67,000. So we have a decent amount of support at 67,000, 68,000 based on liquidation, and of course this consideration here for volume, as well as the fact that all moving averages are kind of hanging out right at that level, and that should continue to push the price action higher. Okay? So until we lose those, we can really presume the price is due to continue further up at this point. But once more, a lower correction would make sense just to kind of retest certain levels here. So what's comfortable, what's healthy? Well, if we look at this time frame here in the hourly, let's see kind of where we're at here with each mobile cloud, and we can confirm that you should have taken profits in your long position by now, and that hypothetically you should consider leaving some of it open, of course, but generally speaking, this indicator is very conservative, letting us know that this window of opportunity to the upside is slowly coming away. Now, does that mean you just short because of it? No, it can very well consolidate and leg up again. That's a very, very common occurrence. But this really just implies that this momentous little trend that we have, it is, it's due for a correction, and it would make sense to take some profits if you haven't already. And folks, if you're not used to taking profits, the best strategy is to generally, what I like to recommend to my community is 70-80% profit in your first target. And of course, consider adjusting your stop loss higher. So if the price does pull back, you're still walking away in the green. Okay, the whole point of adjusting your stop loss higher after taking profit is to ensure you don't leave money on the table. While you may not take as much profit as you could had you held on, again, every circumstance is different, but the general consensus is that if you take in profit, you're going to be more successful. It's just generally the way that it works, because so many people will just, they'll take like thousands of dollars in profit and literally turn it into zero or negative. And there's nothing worse than losing money on a trade that you're up on. But it's certainly not as bad when you take profits from a trade that you're up on, and it's just less profits than you're hoping for. Profits is profit at the end of the day, folks. That's really all there is to it. Okay? So please make sure you do that. Anyways, at this point here, it's kind of letting us know that that window of opportunity is closing with the lagging span intersecting. The conversion line and the baseline, they're kind of intersecting too, in a sense. So that really just implies that the price action is, it's either ready for a pullback or it's going to go sideways. Okay. And we have a few aggressive candle wicks here, 2 in a row here, where we can see the price action comes down and pulls back up. Those are bullish signs here. But once more, we got 20 minutes left in this candle here, and it does look like the bears are starting to win. So it would make sense for the price to pull back here, but let's go ahead and see how this trend line holds, right? If the price action continues to work sideways like this for a few more hours, I think we're pretty decently matched to be able to have a potential pivot. Keep in mind too, though, if you look at this, this could very well be the beginning of a head and shoulders pattern. It's a very ugly one, but generally speaking, we could very well see the price pull back. I think it's best to presume the price will pull back to that 67 to 68K range and potentially get a bounce from there. That would be a solid entry consideration for long. For right now, though, I would say patience is paramount. It does look like, of course, just what we're seeing here so far, money is pulling out of this coin. We are seeing money flow index, of course, dropping on the hourly, and that's generally not a great sign. But once more, if you look hindsight, it's always 2020 when you see previous money flow indexes pulling back. Generally speaking, it's going to bottom out at some point. You usually don't see money flow index coming too much lower than 30. So we're getting close to the bottom here. Okay? So again, whatever that means, translate that however you want. But I think the long story short here is to wait for confirmation. If we can close, again, 70,000 or higher today, I think we'll be in solid consideration for some decent longs. I would venture to guess too, some alts are pulling back now, which makes sense. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, we can see it's on the rise. And Bitcoin price pulling back and dominance going up, that does imply alts are going to be getting hit a little bit harder. So I would say be careful taking longs with alts just now at this moment, this exact moment. Wait for Bitcoin to stabilize and then consider that, or buy the dip whenever that occurs for the specific altcoin you are considering. Another thing to recognize too, if we look at CME futures from Friday to Sunday, there is a gap here as well that could get filled. So keep that in mind. We're going to pay attention to this here, and just make sure that we look at just keep this scenario here in play, right? We got to make sure we're aware that that could get filled eventually. So just something to be mindful of course. Again, guarantee the price is going to pull back to that level? No, but 64 to 66K is the rough estimate there for that CME gap. So just be aware that that is a possibility. Okay? So I hope that made sense and we described that correctly. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. And obviously, you want to become part of our trading community. Make sure you reference cryptocash.tech, link down below. Got a lot of new members coming over. Super happy to work with you. Do not hesitate to reach out to me directly in any way, shape, or form, just so we can make sure to communicate and just mainly help you understand how the signals work too. Because just because we're consistently reporting awesome trades, Filecoin 40% in 4 days, RSR that was a very old trade. We can disregard that completely. But Matic and Solana, we have some longs open there. Pretty decent returns, folks. It's pretty consistent, but again, you want to be able to set up your trades correctly and not just FOMO in. Okay, so just be careful with that. By the way, that's kind of what we're looking at here for Bitcoin. Hope you learned something. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.